Hidden in the dirty streets of the nearly abandoned suburbs, Candyman's shrine can be found. Only homeless men live here now. The shrine, long forgotten, awaiting only for some curious person to wander into it. The killer is known as Daniel Robitali. Was born son of a slave in the late 1800s. Luckily, he lived a happy life considering his circumstances, eventually falling in love with his employer's daughter. Sadly, nothing is meant to last. When his employer found out about them, he ordered a few of the town's people to kill Daniel, and they did after cutting his arm off and covering with honey, letting him to bleed out while covered in bees. Daniel's employer and the townsfolk mocked him, calling him Candyman, which was also his last word before passing away. Now Daniel lives on as an urban legend, a murderous ghost that can be summoned when his name is said 5 times in front of a mirror. He is the Candyman. The Candyman's power is called Human Hive. Countless bees reside within the Candyman's body, and with them he shall bring his curse. Bees will passively be generated within your body every 15 seconds, up to a maximum of 4 stacks. Tap your main power button to shoot a burst of bees up to 20 meters in front of you that will be stopped only by tall walls. Consume 1 stack of bees. Hold your main power button for 2 seconds to charge a burst of bees around you that will explode in a 15-meter radius and will be stopped only by tall walls. Consumes 3 stacks of bees. Survivors hit by your abilities will be affected by the Sting status effect that stacks up to 3 times. When affected, survivors will perform repairing, healing, and sabotage actions 6% slower. Stings last 15 seconds by base. Being hit by an ability while Sting will refresh its duration and apply the next stack. Every Sting stack also decreases its duration by 15 seconds. The third Sting stack also decreases the survivor's movement speed by 5%. Once the Sting effect is over, all stacks are reset. Hive Mind. While you have at least 3 stacks of bees available, press the secondary power button to morph into bees. While in bee form, you move at 5.2 meters a second, 130% movement speed, and can pass through vaults and low walls, but your sight is limited. In this form, the survivor with the highest Sting stack is revealed to you, though through a directional audio. In this form, your bee stacks are capped at 2, and you cannot generate more. If you had more before morphing, the number will be reduced to 2. To exit bee form, you'll be slowed down and will be unable to interact for 2 seconds. The Candyman comes with 3 unique perks, which are all about punishing altruism, taking advantage of survivors' strengths, and focusing on your obsession. The first one, called It Stings. When a survivor completes a rescue action, they become stunned and their vision is impaired for 1, 1.5, or 2 seconds depending on the level of the perk, or the tier of the perk. If they were at full health, they are stunned for 3 seconds longer. If hit by the killer, the stun is cancelled. The second one is called Dark Reversal. Whenever a survivor reads your aura, their position and aura are revealed for 3, 4, or 5 seconds. After the effect is over, the perk will go on an 80, 70, or 60 second cooldown. The third perk is called Be My Victim. Through obsession, the Candyman returns to the mortal plane, and obsessively he shall stalk and end his prey. You become obsessed with one survivor. All noises caused by the obsession are 30% louder. All loud noises cues caused by the obsession last 3 seconds longer. All aura readings applied on the obsession last 3 seconds longer than their intended duration. While the obsession is alive, your aura reading abilities will have 35 130 or 25% less range on non-obsessional survivors. The survivor, called Helen Lyle, was a grad student from Chicago, always curious with a particular interest for folklore and urban legends. Helen stumbled upon an interesting tale. After performing the ritual, death began following her, and something else laid its eyes on her. Helen Lyle comes with 3 perks. The first one, called Window Dimension. The survivor gains the ability to when vaulting through a window, the vaults will show the auras of everything in frame will be shown to the survivor for 3, 4, or 5 seconds, depending on the tier of the perk. Then this perk will go on a 140, 130, or 120 second cooldown. The second one, called Spectres. This perk gives the survivor the ability after getting sacrificed or killed. This perk will activate after 15, 13, or 10 seconds. The survivors will go into Soul Stage, which will not have the ability to block anything. The Soul Survivor have the ability to do actions until hit by the killer, or chase for 60, 80, or 100 seconds. All actions done by the Soul Survivor is decreased by 90, 85, or 80, depending on the tier, and will not be able to use items. And the last perk for the survivor is called Keep Moving. This perk lets the survivor, when being on their last hook, when they take an extra hit that would normally put them in the dying state when injured.
If they are chased for 40, 60 or 80 seconds, the perk will deplete.
They are allowed to take an extra hit. Instead of falling down, they will be applied with the deep wounds effect instead of going down to the dying. It does not work if you already have the deep wounds effect applied to said survivor. It does also give the survivor 1 attempt at escaping on their second hook. If done within 4, 6, or 8 seconds, it also gives you 50, 75, or 100% luck points in the survivor category. Myths, legends, old fairy tales. Candyman doesn't seem like this is about to stop. Just because people don't believe in him, his reign of murder will not stop until he gets what he wants. The Candyman chapter will be released when its potential becomes known.